Better tomorrow today and grow in all areas of your life at the Princeton Club. Join for a better tomorrow.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and 0% financing for 36 months plus $500 off your project. Restrictions apply. Call 414-410-2000. And like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
This is Brian Balaga. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN.
94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI-HD Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Here's Emmy Award winner.
One 1-800-990-3776. And so thanks to Cousin Subs, they've been a great partner, along with Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service, until I realized I wasn't doing them justice, because one of the reasons, among many, how and why they're so good is they've been doing it well for over 50 years. So they've dealt with small businesses, medium-sized businesses, large businesses, and they understand it all. So Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service, and doing it well for over 50 years. A phone number you can remember, because all you need is 3 numbers. Just remember 783. 783. 262-783. Roger Maris, 6161.
That number again, 262-783-6161.
And our contestant is Tony in Tosa. Tony, your Rainman resume, please.
My Rainman resume?
Yeah, have you ever done it before, and how well have you done? Our audience wants to know what they should expect from your performance when we do it in a couple minutes.
I have never done it before, no.
Wow, never done it before. Pebble, would you like to assist Tony, even though no one ever listens to us? That's the only reason I have you do it. I just got frustrated, but I don't
Tony,
feel as bad.
Rainman, our sports trivia contest, which you do every Wednesday here on the Homer Hour. You get 15 questions in 2 minutes. If you want to get through all 15 questions within the 2-minute time frame, so if you don't know an answer, say skip or pass. Homer will come back to it. But the goal is to get through all 15 questions within the 2-minute time frame.
Because our history is that when people don't know it immediately or very, very soon, they don't get it right, and then they just waste time and may not get to a question that is easier than the one they're worried about. Have you listened to the Rainman competition before?
I have not, no.
Ah, yes. Did you actually know this is the number you were calling, or was it a mistake?
No, I knew that this was the number I was calling.
Yeah, you got the $25 gift card from Cousin Subs. I know one thing, Tony, you're a smart man. Just by being caller 5, you get something free. You should also know the first question is the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question. It is only about Marquette. All the other 14 questions can be about anything, Marquette maybe, but the first one is Marquette only, honoring Saganiac Planning's great support of the Marquette athletic program. Ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
2 minutes, 15 questions. 3, 2, 1, go. Nigel James of Marquette, what year is he?
Skip.
Incorrect. Number 1 ranked team this week in men's college basketball.
Skip.
Wisconsin point guard Nick Boyd, where did he play last season?
Pass.
Bucks Cam Thomas, where did he play college basketball?
Memphis.
Incorrect. According to Wikipedia, the youngest player in NBA history to score 40 or more points in 3 straight games.
Pass.
According to basketballreference.com, how many assistant coaches for Doc Rivers with the Bucks?
2.
Incorrect. NBA points per game for a season. All time of the top 6. How many does Wilt Chamberlain have of the top 6?
5.
Correct. He led the Packers last season, 724 yards receiving. Last season. Receiving.
Watson.
Incorrect. He led the Packers last season, 94 yards on punt returns.
Reed.
Incorrect. He led the Packers last season, 717 yards in kickoff returns.
Reed.
Incorrect. Donald Driver, receiving yards, number 1 all-time for the Packers. Who is number 2?
Walker.
Incorrect. Within 5 years, how old is Ric Flair?
71.
Incorrect. After 9th grade, in what school in Wisconsin did Ric Flair attend?
Pass.
According to Wikipedia, how many times has Ric Flair been married?
4 times.
Correct. Nicely done. You should get 2 points. NCAA championship game in football. Indiana over Miami of Florida. What was the score?
31-10.
Incorrect. I got Tony. And Tony, you did the best at doing passes better than anyone before. I got him with 2.
I have 2 as well.
2 as well. Now, Tony, in order to get better, listen to Pebble. He's very good. I'll bet Pebble will get probably 11 or 12. Nigel James of Marquette, what year is he?
He's a freshman.
He is a freshman. Number 1 ranked team this week in men's college basketball.
The Duke Blue Devils.
That is also correct. Wisconsin point guard Nick Boyd, where did he play last season?
San Diego State, and before that, Florida Atlantic.
You just throw that in for bonus,
Yes.
right? Just so everybody knows how smart you are. Nicely done. Bucks Cam Thomas, where did he play college basketball?
Louisiana State University.
That is correct, otherwise known as LSU, when you're not trying to be
He
a
can
smart
fill
aleck.
it up, too. He filled
Yes.
it up at LSU a
You know
lot.
what Tony Smith calls him? A Hall of
walking
Fame
bucket?
chucker.
Okay.
No, wherever he is, at whatever time, he can get a shot up within 7 seconds, even if he's on the bus outside the building. According to Wikipedia, the youngest player in NBA history to score 40 or more points in 3 straight games.
I think it's Cam Thomas.
Cam Thomas as well, which only means that Wilt Chamberlain was older. According to Basketball Reference, how many assistant coaches for Doc Rivers?
6?
9.
9? Okay.
9. All right. And yes, nicely done by Tony. NBA points per game for a season, the all-time of the top 6. Wilt Chamberlain has 5. Who's the only other one in the top 6 for points per game for a season? 5 Wilt Chamberlains in the top 6, and the other one is
Michael Jordan?
It is Michael Jordan's. He led the Packers last season, 724 yards receiving.
Romeo Dobbs.
Romeo Dobbs, correct. He led the Packers last season, 94 yards in punt returns.
Matthew Golden.
Romeo Dobbs, I think. Let's look. Nobody said 94 yards is pretty bad. He led the Packers last season, 717 yards in kickoff returns.
Keyshawn Nixon.
Nope, Savion Williams. You had that right. Donald Driver, receiving yards, number 1 all-time for the Packers. Who's number 2?
James Lofton.
That is correct. And I feel bad for Tony because he missed only by a year. Within 5 years, how old is Ric Flair?
He's 77.
That he is. So 72 to 82 would have worked, and Tony had 71. This is a great question. After 9th grade, in what school in Wisconsin did Ric Flair attend?
I think it was in Beaver Dam. I don't know what the
Yes,
school is,
Wayland Academy in Beaver Dam. I don't know. I think he may have graduated from there. And yes, this should have been worth 5 points. How many times, according to Wikipedia, has Ric Flair been married? He has been married 4,
Yep.
and he has a listed partner that they've been together for a number of years. And the NCAA championship game, Indiana over Miami of Florida. What was the score?
27-21.
27-21. Tony, after heard Pebble and how he did, how do you rate your performance? A grading scale.
I would say 1 out of 5.
Nah, I would give you better. I give you a C+. You did the passing well. Clearly, there are some topics that you're not really an expert on. One would be college basketball, and that's fine. So I didn't really spread them around as well as I should. And your Ric Flair, the two that you got were two really, wouldn't you say, Pebble, of the more difficult questions?
100%, yeah.
He's pretty youthful, so I could mistake him for a 71-year-old.
Yeah, well, you missed by one. I'd give you half a point if I could, but I can't. So in honor of Ric Flair, woo! Tony, you still get the $25 gift card from Cousin Subs, and thanks for playing.
Thank you.
Now that you missed them, I guess I should check. Packers last season in punt return yards, I had Romeo Doubs at 94. Somebody can look that up. Maybe I had it wrong. Packers last season in kickoff returns, I'm sure it's Savion Williams. So, Ric Flair. I couldn't come up with anything else. After high school, he then attended the University of Minnesota, but didn't give much this time. I assume the stay there was pretty short.
Yeah, and Dobbs was the correct answer for that. I just looked it up right now. 94 yards.
94 yards. Wow. Well,
next was Golden with 28.
I'd like to
21.
go back and check past years to see if the Packers were ever that bad. All right. Tim Van Vooren's at the scouting combine in Indianapolis. He's been going that for years. So we will get to TVV. Well, not next, because I want to make mention of a couple of my partners. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin, family business, owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. And the point is, it's a family business, and they still own it, which means the Fiscos are still working on your cars. Imagine how many years they've been working on it. That's one of the reasons they're so good. They've been working on it for so long. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. So, expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. Any damage, Fisco has you covered. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. I tell you, so you'll go there, you'll like them, and then eventually you'll like me. Hey, Homer, thanks. It's a nice additional benefit. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. So you remember the name. And I mentioned them already. Want to do it again. Running a business means taking care of your team and your bottom line. For over 50 years, Saganiac Planning has helped small, medium, large businesses build smarter, more affordable medical and employee benefit plans. Over 50 years. From health insurance to customized coverage options, Saganiac Planning's expert make it simple to protect your people and your future, whatever the size of your company. Saganiac Planning, your partner in planning confidence. Call SaganiacPlanning.com or John Saganiac Jr. today. And the number, as I gave it and Pebble did, remember the 783-262-783. Roger Maris, 6161. Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Looks like we've got some issues on 43 heading southbound right at the ramp from 9th Street. The right shoulder is blocked with a vehicle fire, so watch out for that. We've also got the right lane blocked on southbound 43 heading onto 794 eastbound in the Marquette, all because of a broken down vehicle. We've also got this crash on 41 southbound at Capitol Drive off on the left shoulder, still being worked on. Delays coming in from Silver Spring down almost to Burleigh. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, mainly clear and chilly, a low of 18 at the lake, 11 inland. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy, a high of 38. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
All day, every day. The Cardless Talk and Text line is open for you.
We're not trying to get from A to B. We're trying to get from A to SB, as in the Super Bowl.
800-990-3776. The Cardless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Chris Canty.
He is coaching for his job in 2026. When you're up against it, when you're backed into a corner, do you want to entrust a guy that has publicly said that he doesn't trust that the coaching staff is putting him in the best situations to be successful? If you were doing a job and you had to do it at a high level, otherwise you would get fired, do you want somebody that has publicly said they can't trust you? Probably not. Why would you want to have A.J. Brown on this team At every turn, you have to worry about this guy going on a Twitch stream or going on social media or saying something that is critical of how you're operating the team and putting it out there in the public sphere. You wouldn't want to do that. You don't want people that are supposed to be helping you to do the job second-guessing your leadership.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text AREA to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text AREA to 42424. That's AREA to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Imagine working with a contractor that quits halfway through a project or never calls you back when you have questions. Or worse, takes your money and you never see them again. Unfortunately, we hear about them all the time. Hi, this is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, and Siding Unlimited is absolutely not that company. Siding Unlimited has been doing business for 32 years, proving to be an honest, ethical, and forthright company. If you're looking for the honest guys for your next siding, windows, roofing, and doors project, stop by sidingunlimited.com today.
This is the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. The three most important letters in sports. Even better than those. TVV. It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Vooren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports, is currently on assignment, but we will get him momentarily. The Tim Van Vooren Scouting Bureau we got to talk with because he is at the Combine in Indianapolis, and it seems to me, if I'm right, he's been going there for many, many, many years. It would appear to me that things have changed a little bit, and that seems more of it now is a chance for everybody to go in order to hear what the coaches or GMs or various team members have to say. I mentioned in the Rainman competition, Ric Flair, is coming to Milwaukee March 27th at the Riverside Theater. Thanasis and Ric Flair, or as I like to say, Ric Flair and Thanasis. Thanasis has done way more athletically than Ric Flair's ever done in terms of competition. But in terms of importance and entertainment, Ric Flair is legendary. Thanasis live, WWE Hall of Famer and global icon himself. That's true. So is it, do we call it? Well, I'll have to ask Pebble. He's working on Tim Van Vooren. This isn't a cameo. This isn't a 5-minute interview. This is a full live show, high energy, unfiltered storytelling, behind-the-scenes moments you've never had. And if you know Thanasis, you know he's bringing the juice. Well, that's true, but the key isn't the juice that he brings. The key is the juice that Ric Flair brings. Woo! Tickets are limited. Don't wait. Lock yours in now at taliveshow.com. Thanasis, live, March 27th at the Riverside Theater. I think it's 7 o'clock. Presented by Gruber Law Offices and Potawatomi Casino Hotel. I don't know how many chances. I'm a wrestling fan, but I've just observed from afar Ric Flair. But whoever he's with. The Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, as a Packer fan, which team would you like to beat the most? And this has to do with the coach of the Bears saying the Bears and the Packers should hate each other. And this seems to me that's nice, but You can say that, but it's about beating everybody in the division. You beat the Packers twice, and you don't win the division, so how far have you gone? You got to have a good team. Anyway, so our Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, as a Packer fan, which team do you like to beat the most? Bears, Vikings, Lions, or just win the damn division, as I have said, given that they haven't done so in the last 4 years. And that's, who cares if the Packers don't win it? Who wins it? Is it any worse if the Bears win it, or if the Vikings win it, or if the Lions win it? My answer is no. So just win the damn division, and then you're not going to be a 7th seed. And it has been various teams. What's changed in the division? The Lions have gotten better, and then, of course, the Bears were better last year. But is it worse because the Bears won the division than the Vikings? No. None of it's worse. Worse is that it's not the Packers, and it can be any of the others, and it really doesn't matter. Should we take another quick break and then get back and then bring Tim Van Vooren in? Because he is ready to go. Okay. Because I know he's busy doing all the stuff and doing all the interviews and things like that. Yes, we have somebody put up the Institute's president, Sean Dobbs, had 94 yards, Reed 100, Nixon 95 and 140. Wow, it's just amazing. So we will have Tim Van Vooren momentarily. And at this point in the Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, it's about 33%, 16%. We really don't have enough votes to be able to determine that. I'm just looking at seeing if we have two different places. Aaron Rodgers' decision is expected by Big March, which, again, I have no interest to Aaron Rodgers other than last year because he was playing for the Steelers and they played everybody in the division. But this year, I would think the interest would be zero because he's playing for Pittsburgh. I don't care about Pittsburgh. Everything is important only as it relates to the Green Bay Packers. And if he plays for Pittsburgh, don't care. If he plays for the Minnesota Vikings, then care. I don't really understand. I guess maybe Mike McCarthy just feels like he can't get a quarterback for the first year, so he'll play the old man. That is my new name for Aaron Rodgers, the old man. And yes, I am the expert on old man because I am one. Joining us now is Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports, TVV. Good afternoon, good evening.
Right back at both of you, both of those with you, Homer, from Indianapolis.
Yeah, so you've been going there for years and years and years and years and years, right? You always are there. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it's kind of an interesting, fun week. The first year I went was the A.J. Hawk year. So, yeah, that's been a while.
And is a lot of it now the ability to listen to all the coaches or GMs or everybody chats or the players? I don't know. How do you view the time there in terms of information that you get that's valuable?
I think you get a certain amount of on-the-record information, which is marginally valuable. You can evaluate and observe the prospects, of course, and you get some, off-the-record or discussionary information that kind of informs your reporting going forward. So, I think it's a very beneficial week. It's interesting to see some of these guys. There's some Badger connections or Milwaukee area connections in terms of the prospects out there. So there's a variance of things you can get out of the NFL Scouting Combine.
And as I've stated before, everything is important only as it relates to the Green Bay Packers. So what can you pass along regarding the Green Bay Packers that is helpful?
Well, Matt LaFleur and coaches don't come. That's a decision some teams have taken with their coaches. Sean McVay did it with the Rams, and then, suddenly the Packers were doing it, not coming either. So those guys are not here to do their personal evaluations. They're going to do it all via Zoom and off testing numbers. So you don't get to catch up with those guys or listen to those guys. A lot of other teams' coaches are here, of course, and they have to speak to the subjects that Brian Gutekunst has to handle in terms of the representation for the organization. But what you can say is, the Packers, here's what the Packers do, Homer. You have these interview sessions. They get a bulk of interviews. Gutekunst was saying they had 11 the first night. some of those players are beyond their reach on the draft board. They're going to be first-round draft choice. The Packers don't have a first-round draft choice. So these are guys they're doing due diligence on for future use. Future use. Could be a free agent, could be come back around, could be a trade prospect somewhere around. It's not. They know it's not somebody they're going to get at this year.
Okay. I don't entirely understand that. It would seem to me that you'd learn or what someone is. I don't know how much you can use that if it's then you're looking at them, 3 years down the road. But maybe
what else they're going to do? It's just a Packer organizational deal. Obviously, every team has their own way of doing it, and you see what's right or what's wrong. But I'll tell you, so I guess due diligence is really the word for me when it comes to the Packers, because if you have these interview sessions, they have one coming up here at the top of the hour. All right, there's another big interview session coming up here in Indy at the top of the hour with these prospects. The Packers scouts are already walking over there to get into place. They're going to be there early. They're going to have to watch early. They're going to be in the seat that they want to be in. Brian Gutekunst sets that tone. He goes early. Lo and behold, John Eric Sullivan would just walk by me. He's going early. He's representing the Dolphins now, but that's the way he learned it too. That's what the Packers do. Incredibly thorough. You can say whatever you want about what the results are that comes out of it, but you really can't question the commitment to it. You can't question the commitment to what they're doing, how they do it.
Yeah, but that's the difference between you and I. I don't care about anything but results. I mean, I don't know how did Ron Wolf do it the same way, and I would assume much of what Goody does is probably the Ron Wolf way because he was a part of that group, and the same with Ted Thompson. So maybe they've always done
and Homer. But you hear, and I'm not sure. I want to hear this as much as you do. But you hear now around the Packers, and it's not exclusive to the Packers, because you hear this other places as well, about valuing the process. And lo and behold, today I heard one of these prospects at the podium. These were defensive linemen and linebackers today. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but I was listening to all these defensive linemen because, of course, the Packers need defensive linemen. And he says, the direct quote here, you can't fall in love with the outcome. You have to fall in love with the process. So that is now down to the college level of these guys coming out talking about process over outcome. And that guy has nothing to do with the Green Bay Packers.
That is correct. And you, having been doing this for long enough, can probably say, I never heard process until a certain amount of time. I would agree. I don't remember process being used. In fact, I thought the first team that did it wasn't like the Philadelphia 76ers or whatever. And they were just not going well, but said, "Hey, you just got to believe in the process." Don't you?
Yeah, which is that's kind of a mocking term in Philadelphia because of the way the quote unquote process turned out. And you're right. I do think it's a term and an idea that's become in vogue in the last 3, 4, 5 years that did not exist for the longest time in professional sport. Hey, do you win or lose? You know what I mean? Yeah. And for a lot of people, that's still the barometer. Did you win or lose?
You never bring up the process unless you lose. If you win, nobody brings up the process. Yeah,
the process cushions you from any pure introspection on what the outcome was. It's a little cushion. Well, it's the process.
There you go. You're right, and it's nice because it's no one's offended by it, and it can mean almost anything. Right?
It's nebulous too.
Yeah.
You can't put an exact value on it.
And did you hear Goody and anything you want to say that you feel like you learned about the Packers? I think it's tough with Goody because I think he's one of the great liars ever. He just, I think if he was in charge of the Titanic, he would have said, we had a bad day, but we'll be back. We're good. He's just always very positive about everybody. And that's fine.
You can call that lying. I call that skilled communication without revealing much.
Skilled what communication? All right.
Skilled communication. That's exactly what each one of these guys would like to do. They're operating.
Right.
He talked for, Homer.
Yes.
He talked for roughly an hour with the media yesterday. Roughly 1 hour.
I want to apologize because I shouldn't say he lies. I'm not sure I'll say skilled communication, but I would say that if you were to judge what happened based on what he said, it doesn't always fit. His actions is what you should look at. But I agree. Skilled communication, I might use that. It's less negative and talk however you want. It's just, to me, a question of whether or not you can determine what the Packers might do based on what he said. And I think that has been difficult in the past, but I will defer to you.
Okay, here are my takeaways from speaking for 1 hour, roughly 1 hour, Homer, without a net. You know what I mean? If you're going to screw up, it's going to be on social media immediately. Right. So 1 hour without a net. I don't think I heard the name Jordan Love. 1 hour of conversation. I don't think I heard the name Jordan Love.
And how would you translate
astounding.
That?
Well, I just think it's astounding. I mean, is he that accepted now as to what he is for this team that, there wasn't a single question about it? Different years or contract questions or commitment questions or competition questions, any about that.
I would say that's the answer. That would be my analysis. What's yours?
Yeah. Yeah, that there's an acceptance of what and who Jordan Love is as it relates to this football team at the current time. I do think when you speak for an hour without a net, a couple of things are going to come out there. One, here are a couple of things. One, international football. We've done a lousy job at it. Here's his quote. Part of it is we need to embrace the idea of it. We have to be wanting to go. Remember that? Remember how the Packers, when they were going to London, this is such an inconvenience. We want the bye afterwards. This is just a trivial, we don't want this. Okay, well, they played like it, and they lost, okay? And that set off a little losing streak that year. That's not the attitude to take. That's Brian Gutekunst. It's as far as he can go publicly in saying that was ridiculous, okay? Another thing from Brian Gutekunst yesterday, a slip in there when asked about Matthew Golden. He had a good year, given his opportunities, whatever. Probably should have been in there more early. Okay. There you go. That's a little something. Did you hear that from Brian Gutekunst? Maybe should have been in there more early, or probably should have been in there more early. To me, that's a little something. Another thing is, this roster has been built and is capable of winning a Super Bowl. Okay, you can interpret that and agree with that or disagree with that. He is putting the pressure then on the performance of the roster. The players are here in his mind. How will they perform? That's what he's putting out there. And I think you could argue that those who were in the Fire Matt LaFleur camp last season would have said that's what happened. They didn't play to the level of the talent on the team. The injuries, go back to our word cushion, the injuries probably cushioned some of that evaluation. But if you were in the camp that said the coaching, you lose your last 5 games of the year, is that all because of injury or not?
I would say or not. There were some, even with the injuries, they should have won.
Okay.
But I have a question for you.
All right, go ahead.
You're leading us to the belief that Goody is taking some shots at the head coach. And you mentioned 3 in which he did. I think those things all say the coach has to do a better job. My question is, in all the following that you do, is their relationship pretty good? You can have differences over some things. I would say I still think the two of them are pretty close to on the same page, but maybe not given the tidbits you gave us. Take it away, TVV.
I do think their relationship is good. I have no reason to believe it is not. I think it is. I don't think it's out of line for Matt LaFleur to say, we need to embrace international play. So, some of it can be personal evolution. Some of it can be, in retrospect, we do it differently. I don't think, if the Packers get an international game this year, okay, that comes out of the schedule, which they could and probably will, they have a road game at New Orleans, which is already announced as an international host team. They have a road game at Detroit, which is already announced as an international host team. So there are 2 games right there that could be
they're not going to do the
international
game.
games.
Come on.
International games.
Come on, TVV. No.
What?
Am I wrong?
Lions, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I'm just saying, any game. My point is,
yes,
if they get an international game and Matt LaFleur comes out and says, we don't want any part of this, this is, this throws us off. Well, then you have a real clear difference of opinion on this. If they get an international game and Matt LaFleur says, you know what, we're going to go gung-ho, we're going to go over there, we're going to do this certain way, we're going to commit to this, well, then the whole organization learned from the approach to the last 2 times. So I don't think it automatically draws a confrontation or a fissure between LaFleur and Gutekunst. I'm not saying that, but I am saying I think Gutekunst is putting it out there. If you say he didn't say anything an hour, I'm saying he did say some things an hour. You just have to be looking to see and listening to hear what he said.
That's why we have you on to do that for us. I would disagree strongly, assuming you can repeat, like the roster is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Is that what he said?
Capable of winning a Super Bowl, yes.
I don't think
capable.
It is. What do you? Do you think that's going a little too far, or maybe you do?
You know what, Homer, I'm torn. I wouldn't say on the surface that it is, but I would say you could argue that three of the best, three Pro Bowl, all-pro level players from their roster last year were out at the end of the year. I'm not laying the whole thing on injury, but Tucker Kraft is one of the best tight ends. Micah Parsons is one of the best edge rushers. Zach Tom is one of the best tackles. They didn't have those guys for the last quarter of the season. That is going to change your performance. Now, are they all going to come back and play at the level they were at before and be on the same schedule that they were at before? Who knows? But shouldn't the team be a lot better if those guys are playing at what you would expect them to play at? Sure. Is that enough to win a Super Bowl? I don't know. And you don't have a first-round draft choice this year, and you don't have a lot of free agency money. I would make the argument more the way they don't have enough than that they do. But I could see a scenario where they get big jumps from some of the guys already on the roster, and they get a return to a high level of play from the three guys I just mentioned.
I would agree on that, and that's why I wish they were playing now. I can't wait for them to play because I want to see what happens. I agree with that. I wouldn't have given the – and by the way, has the extension, the years, has that come down yet? Does anybody still know? I've said it's 3 in addition to the year he had left, but does anybody know yet?
Not publicly. I don't know. I haven't seen it. It's not going to be revealed by anybody here. I'll tell you that. But – what if it's 3, Homer, which is technically 4 going into this season?
Right.
How much rope does that give you then? Okay, how much rope does that give you? At least 2 years.
Yes, unless you thoroughly embarrass this year. So if they won 4 games, gone, 5 games, gone. But again, it would deal with injuries. The fact that they gave him that extension, given the last year and the disappointment with the injuries, tells me that policy really likes those guys
and believes that had those key guys been healthy, the result would have been different. It's not laid at the coaching staff. Brian Gutekunst also said here a couple of things that he slides into answers. He said the best years, and this isn't some revelation, but he says it on the record, the best years for pro football players' production, age 26 to 29. How many Packer players do you think are going to be in that window?
Everyone.
Well, they're going to be right on the beginning of that window, which makes it look like, hey, this is our window for great success. He also says draft class, how many guys get a second contract? NFL average 1.6. 1.6 players out of a draft class get a second contract. Well, now suddenly you look that back, that kind of tracks with the production of the Packer draftees. Now, that would probably take into effect, and obviously takes into effect, the teams that are lousy in drafting and never give anybody a second contract, or that have turned over, to a new general manager within the guy's rookie contract so he doesn't get kept. I mean, you have to factor all that stuff in. But, those things, are you creating a narrative or are you reflecting reality in the NFL?
Oh,
that's really what you have to ask.
I'm going to have to think on that. Yeah, we'll get into that next week. And you're the best. Thanks for giving us the time. And the TVV Scouting Bureau back to work in Indianapolis. Thanks, Tim.
See you.
Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports. Jason Wilde, next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Some big backups along southbound 43. Part of the problem, right at 9th Street, the right lane is blocked with a vehicle fire. So that's going to be making for slowdowns from Capitol Drive all the way down through the Marquette. On the northbound side, backing up from Fond du Lac up past North Avenue. Southbound 41, you've got backups from just before Silver Spring all the way down past Capitol Drive. Westbound 94 slowing down from 20th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. The eastbound side's got some backups from Highway F past Barker Road and from 92nd Street all the way to Hawley Road. Traffic is brought to you by Glenroy, now hiring. As the packaging industry rapidly grows, so does Glenroy. Apply today at glenroy.com/careers. That's GLENROY.com/careers. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Mainly clear and chilly, a low of 18 at the lake, 11 inland tomorrow. Partly to mostly cloudy, a high of 38. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Watch the Bucks for free with select games on broadcast TV all season long. CBS 58 and WMLW are the only place to find the Bucks over the air. With 8 select games you can watch for free. Check out the full schedule at WMLW.com. Our season tips off tonight at 7 against the Lakers on CBS 58.
Homer here from ESPN Milwaukee. What makes living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Dave.
The campus is beautiful. For me, nature is my church, and I love being outside. We live by the Bark River, and it's calming. It just calms my soul. I just love it. A lot of the people, I'm talking about 100-year-old people, 90 years old, say they credit Three Pillars with living longer.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been Milwaukee's one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace. February is all about love, and while you're out here showing love to your partner, don't forget about a place that shows up for you every single day, your home. Right now, when you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free. That's a real deal, and there's no limit. You'll also get 0% interest for 36 months, $500 off your next home improvement project. Call 414-410-2000 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com to schedule your free estimate today. And like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Grab the dial and crank it up, baby, because Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee is spinning its Winning Hits collection. Over the next 3 months, you could win a share of over $1 million in prizes. On top of thousands in cash and reward play, you could win one of 3 new Ford vehicles in the grand finale drawings on March 27th. Just play with your rewards card to earn entries. Press play on the Winning Hits collection, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
I was wrong. Jason Wilde is not next yet. Tune into the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Bucks Against the World, narrated by comedian Charlie Behrens, reveals the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open. Bucks became the first NBA team ever to take on the best national team in the world, the Soviet Union. Find Behind the Bucks on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bucks, again presented by Gallagher. Now, Jason Wilde, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some... Why are you throwing... I don't want...
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
This Valentine's month, Milwaukee Weight Loss is sharing the love with $300 off during our Valentine's sale. Now through February 28th only. It's the perfect time to fall in love with the result-getting Milwaukee Weight Loss program. We know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects. Whether you want to look great for Valentine's Day, an upcoming event, or just for you, you can start losing those unwanted pounds right now. No more losing weight and gaining it back. This program helps you keep the weight off for good. Visit MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation today.
Homer here. I've already lost 10 pounds since I started the journey. Now it's your time to show yourself some love with $300 off. Hurry. This Valentine's sale ends February 28th. Patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Call 262-235-3980 now for your free consultation or MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Results may vary.
Tax refund season is here, but at Cunis, you don't need your tax refund to get a great ride. Right now, during the Cunis Keep Your Refund event, you don't have to spend your tax refund to drive something you'll love. Why? Because Cunis has added a huge selection of over 1,200 affordable pre-owned vehicles available right now across 3 Milwaukee area locations. That's Oak Creek Buick GMC, Greenfield Buick GMC, and Hope Chevrolet. Cars, trucks, and SUVs, all makes and models, and all priced to fit your budget, so you can hang on to your refund for the things that matter most. Pay down bills, take a trip, start a project, spend your refund how you want. With over 1,200 affordable vehicles, chances are the perfect one is waiting for you without touching your tax refund. Shop Cunis Oak Creek Buick GMC, Greenfield Buick GMC, and Hope Chevrolet today. The Keep Your Refund event, only at Cunis. Start your search at CunisMKE.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geist.
Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geist today. For 70 years, Geist has been the trusted garage door authority in Wisconsin. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget and will even build custom designs to get your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to GeistDoors.com. That's GEIS doors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield, featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geist.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org.
With your UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, I'm Will Summers. This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Wisconsin Dells senior Ashaya Hopkins. Hopkins has been the driving force behind the Chiefs' remarkable 23-0 regular season, leading one of the state's top teams into the postseason undefeated. Hopkins erupted for 44 points in a 104-19 win over Watoma, knocking down 10 three-pointers and setting school records in the process. She has consistently produced at a high level all season, delivering big scoring nights and helping Wisconsin Dells control games from start to finish. Now with the postseason underway, the Chiefs look to carry their unbeaten momentum into a deep tournament run. Congratulations to Ashaya Hopkins, your UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Jason Wilde, three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year. What is at the top of his list regarding the Green Bay Packers? That's what I want to know. Good evening, Jason.
Rashawn Gary.
And your belief, or just to see how it plays out?
So I wrote about it, yesterday, today. It's up right now on Channel 3000. And my thing is that, like, Goody did something he never does when he's talking about players under contract. In one answer about Rashawn Gary yesterday at the Combine, he said if he's on the team next year, which he never says that about guys that are under contract, right? He'll say that about guys that are free agents. And he got a question yesterday about Romeo Dobbs, about, losing him. And he said, well, we haven't lost him yet. But he said that about Rashawn. And then later on, somebody else asked a different question about Gary, and he basically talked about the idea of what we're going to expect from him next year. So he kind of, sent some mixed messages. He cannot be on this team with a $28 million cap number. So there's basically three options.
Well, why can't he, for those who don't know why?
Because you can't have him taking up that huge of a cap number, even if he was good, even if he was playing great.
Right.
You want to get that number down. And so he's got an $18 million base salary, got a $28 million cap number. If he was coming off a 12-sack season, you would still want to get his cap number down.
Right.
So you can use that space on other pieces that you need. So they can release him, and they can either release him and eat the dead cap money right away, and they would still, obviously the math is his base salary is $18 million, his cap number is $28 million, so they would save about $10 million by not having him on the roster. That's option one.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have even more cap space if they made it a post-June 1 cut. Their next option is to convince him to take a pay cut, and we want you here, but we don't want you at that number. We'll structure the contract so you can earn back all the money that you give up in incentives. That'll be option two. And then option three would obviously be convert his base salary to a signing bonus, which would be guaranteed. You could spread that money out over multiple years going forward, probably add some years to his contract. But again, based on what you saw from him, do you really want to extend the deal with him? Like, I wouldn't think so. Even if he, let's say for argument's sake, he didn't play as poorly as it feels like he did. Would you still want to add more years of commitment to him? I wouldn't think so. So I'm very eager to see how this plays out, because the way Goody addressed it, he kind of tried to have his cake and eat it too. And I just, they got to make a decision, and I look forward to them making it, because I'm very curious, because I thought it was essentially self-evident that they would move on from him. But again, Parsons isn't going to be ready for the opener. Enagbare is a free agent. Two other guys that play defensive end are restricted free agents, Brenton Cox and Aaron Mosby. You got two young guys who played scarcely or almost not at all as rookies this past season. And you got Lucas Van Ness, who missed a bunch of time with a foot injury. So they're kind of in a tough spot if they were to move on from Gary, but on his merits. That's one more hole you have to fill at that position. So a lot of moving pieces there.
I would be of the opinion they're going to offer him less, and then he decides. It's obviously more complicated than that, but would that fit what Goody tends to do in this kind of a situation, or not?
Well, he's certainly no. I mean, certainly in some instances, and I've always thought, Ron Wolf, I'll never forget this. This is one of the best lessons I ever was taught. There was a time where the Cleveland Browns were trying to get him to become their general manager, like several years after he'd retired from the Packers in 2001. And he asked for 1%, in addition to his salary and everything else, he asked for a small stake of ownership.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and he and I were talking.
Sounds like what I call a Pat Hughes. We'll see if it was.
Okay, I think it's going to be. Because I said, Ron, why would you, that owners aren't going to give up a share of ownership to hire you. He's like, yeah, Jason, exactly. I'm like, what? He's like, it's a way to say no without really saying no, right? And if they say yes, oh, okay, I guess I will then.
Which they did for Lombardi. Yes, exactly. Pat Hughes years ago told me, I asked how much they could charge for a speech. This was 1989. He says, I charge $5,000. I said, you charge people $5,000 to give a speech? I go, why? He goes, I don't want to speak.
Exactly.
He said he had one speech he did at that price. Yeah.
So my point in bringing up that Ron Wolf story is that I think Goody has done that to some degree with offers, right? Like the offer he made to Aaron Jones was low ball, and that's why he was able to say, okay, well, fine, and he pivoted to Josh Jacobs. He lowballed the heck out of Jordy Nelson to the point that he, even Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers were pissed about it. He lowballed Adams with his initial offer before the 21 season, and maybe he did it on purpose there too. So he could offer Rashawn Gary an offer that he has to refuse, right? But at the same time, I don't know, based on their scenario that they're in at that position, maybe he needs to, he keeps saying, he had 60 pressures. I don't know where he got that number from because Pro Football Focus doesn't have him with that many, and neither did the Packers' official stats. But maybe he offers them something that's kind of a fair market value. But the question that I would have for Rashawn then would be, what does he think his value is? Because first-round picks, they always get the benefit of the doubt. Tausch will tell you that. And so if they ask him to take a pay cut, he may say, you know what? I think there's another team out there that's going to say, hey, this guy's a good player. They didn't know how to use him or whatever was wrong in Green Bay. We're going to pay him, and he's going to have a success here because we know how to use him better. And maybe then he says, no, thanks, and I'll go, you just release me. So, again, it's one of them. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but there are so many really interesting moving pieces this offseason, like with the number of guys from the 2022 draft that are hitting free agency, with Elton Jenkins, with Josh Jacobs and Aaron Banks, and the question marks. I still think they're both back, but still, there's just such an interesting number of question marks that I just can't wait for the league year to start to see how it all plays out.
I would assume with Rashawn Gary, massive amount or percentage of what he's offered is incentives. Because that's what
I'm the Packers.
That's what I would do.
If I'm the Packers, that's what I do.
I just can't trust you. But yeah, you come up with these whatever numbers you agree on, I'll pay you a ton. And
I would also add this. I want to be clear. I don't think he's a terrible player, but for a first-round draft pick and a $96 million contract, his performance did not match his salary. And
you know what we call that? We call that now a Bisaccia.
I didn't know we had created that term.
I just invented it right now.
I kind of like it. I'll jump on board with that.
Is it? I mean, that's what. Do you have a cap? You judge players on. To me, more than the draft, it's like, were they worth what we paid them? Because we only got so much money.
Right, and because to that point, if you're going to use Bisaccia's name, it's not like they were the special teams were better during his time than they had been with others. They just weren't. What is our new saying that you and I came up with? It was good, but it wasn't good enough.
No, don't tell me something is better. I don't care about better. Was it good enough? I wish my kids were younger because I would use that all the time. Yeah, but I'm doing better in math. That doesn't work. In our family, there's only one question. Is it good enough?
I love it.
I don't know who I stole it from. Yeah, that is spectacularly good.
I think you stole it from me. I think we brainstormed it.
All right, I'll give you full credit for it. That's good enough. Jason Wilde, I stole it from him. I'm proud of stealing good stuff because that means I'm a good thief.
It's true.
Yes,
all
thanks,
right, Homer,
Jason.
Take care, be good.
And now we go to Pato. Yeah. See about those Bucks. Going to take them again. Came in big against Miami. Like them again? Huh? Believe in the Bucks. That's how we find out. Will you bet on them? And are you betting on them to win? You don't care about, I don't need points. This Bucks team can win. We'll find out. To Pato we go.
Southbound on 43, backing up from about Keefe all the way down through the Marquette interchange. Westbound 94 is backed up from just before 27th Street to Holly Road. Eastbound from the